So On3 released their preseason top 25. The SEC has 9 teams. The Big Ten has 8. So according to them, we should just not play the season at all. Plus Purdue's athletic director, he said what? And it's Oregon's win total today. All that and more on a Locked On Big Ten Squad.
You're talking ball with the Big Ten Squad. From USC to Ohio State, from Michigan to Oregon, from Nebraska to Washington, it's the local experts of the Locked On Podcast Network bringing you scoops, breakdowns, and the most comprehensive preview of the upcoming Big Ten weekend. No hurt feelings and thin skin allowed. Squad up, you're part of the Big Ten Squad.
Welcome in. It is the Locked On Big Ten Squad. I'm Jacob Goins, host of Locked On Hoosiers, hosting today because, well, Spencer said he didn't want to, internet problems, but it's also Oregon win total day, and we couldn't let him host the show when we're talking about his team. We also have Craig Sheeman of Locked On Big Ten here, Roman Tomashoff of Locked On Huskies, and as I mentioned, Spencer McClelland of Locked On Ducks today. That's the only show he does today. We have a lot to get to, gentlemen, right, because, again, Oregon's win total, 10.5, according to our friends at FanDuel. We'll get there. We're down to 2 teams. Can you believe it? We almost timed this out perfectly with the start of college football. Plus, we have to react on the pod about what Purdue's athletic director said. I know it's been several days since it happened, but Craig and I are going to just tee off on this dude and let him have it for about 10 minutes. But we start today's show with On3 putting out their preseason top 25, and the Big Ten's got 8 teams represented in it, guys. That's pretty good, but Craig, the SEC has 9, so we may as well just hang it up, not play. They're the best. They're just the top dog. The SEC is just that good, huh? Is that what you think?
I'm wondering what it is going to take to get SEC guy, SEC fan, SEC coaches to understand that they're the second dog, all right? What's it going to take? Do we have to win a 4th straight national championship in the Big Ten? And then they always go to the argument, well, the middle of the conference is better. Well, no, it's not. Head-to-head play, whether it be the playoffs where we sweep them, or we have a better record in the playoffs, or the .com bowl games, or head-to-head play, absolutely own them. So all they really have to hang their hat on is, well, okay, then maybe the bottom of our conference is better. Well, who cares about
I have
the
something
bottom?
else on that.
Nobody cares about that. So I don't know what it's going to take, but every year we get these polls that come out. We'll get a couple of Big Ten teams at the top, and then all SEC, and then we'll throw in some Big Ten teams at the end to kind of help balance it out a little bit. I'm almost done trying to explain to these SEC people that they're second fiddle.
Roman, please, my friend, chime in.
Let me make it worse, because somehow a whole bunch of SEC fans found last week's squad show on my channel, and some of the comments that I got were just straight up gold. One of them was Vanderbilt was ranked higher than most Big Ten teams, so the SEC is clearly better. And this from like the end of last year. The other one, and I wish I could read the whole thing. I just don't want to give that person the time of day. Talked about how the SEC is so much better because it generates so many more viewers, and that the Big Tens are too spread around, which is just one of the most insane things I've ever heard. Yes, that I know Spencer and the Ducks, they're fighting for clicks over there instead of wins, but I'm sorry, I had to get that one in there. But it's one of those things.
We can't turn on ourselves, Roman. We can't.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. I will allow it. I will allow it. I will turn on. I wouldn't turn on Craig. He does a quality show. I will turn on you two and Seiko in 2 seconds.
We're well aware of that.
Can't turn on Seiko if he's not here. That's just that character.
No, by the way, can we point out the Spencer's deluxe location, waterfront in the woods? This is gorgeous.
That is Oregon to
before the show, though, we asked if we could come hang out with him, and he told us no.
Yeah, he did.
Not on this trip. No, I invited my close friends to come this weekend.
We didn't say this trip. We said in the future a lockdown retreat. And you were like, no, not you guys.
We'll discuss it at a later date. But yeah, this is not CGI behind me. Just to be clear, those are actual Oregon trees, and there's an actual Oregon lake.
This isn't CGI either.
There.
This is completely handmade by me. No artificial making whatsoever. So
yeah, you didn't use AI.
Nope, I did not use the chat TPG at all whatsoever. Spencer, do you buy into preseason polls as much as I do, which is absolutely not doing it? They're fun to talk about, but do you put any stock into these?
Well, As the season goes on, no, I'm going to be willing, and I just put out my own top 25. You can check that out at lockdown_CFB. And
Wow, shameless plug.
what my ranking is a reflection of is what I feel like all rankings, whether it's the AP or the College Football Playoff Committee's poll, should be a reflection of, and that is what teams have actually earned. And going into a season, all you have earned to that point is the season prior and the off season. And that's what we have to evaluate you on. And I think giving fans a snapshot of where teams are likely to be or where they're capable of being going into the year, I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. Where preseason polls go wrong, Jacob, is when media folks that vote on the AP or the College Football Playoff Committee, whoever, when they get latched on to the preseason poll, and they'll say, well, I thought this team was going to be good going into the season. Perfect example, South Carolina last year. I thought South Carolina was going to be good because they had a talented quarterback and they'd had a good season the year before, and they were terrible. They were flat out terrible. And yet I saw them pop up in, what was it, the ESPN, I think FPI power rankings or some
your
list
favorite.
like that.
Some mess.
My absolute favorite. But I throw the top 25 back on the screen again.
Yep,
I could,
I got
but
you.
you're hosting the show, so you got to do it.
Yep.
Florida at 25 is a comical, laughable joke. I mean, there's no reason for them to be inside the top 25 there because they have not earned anything to be there. Now, if you want to have the subjective opinion that Florida is going to be a good team this year, that's perfectly fine. You can make that projection. That is not how polls should be seen. That is not how polls should be used and treated, because I think that leads to subjectivity coming into the sport rather than the results on the field. I mean, Tennessee being in there, it's not the most egregious, but I didn't have him in there. And by the way, I'll be fair, Penn State shouldn't be in there either. They absolutely should not.
Yep.
I agree with that.
They have to beat
I
somebody
do too.
real first. Like, I don't think that should happen. But
See, with that line of thinking, though, I think, and you said it at the beginning, like I feel like you haven't earned anything. I feel like last year is completely separate from this year, even if you return 80% production or whatever number each team. You know what I mean? Like that's again, they're fun to talk about. They're clearly we're leading our squad show with it, but I just don't think. And to your point, Spencer, I think so many people who are in decision-making positions, they do latch onto those. They latch onto the preseason top 25 in the AP poll. And they're like, well, Illinois was the 9th-ranked team in the country when they came to Bloomington last year. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, yes, Craig. Go ahead, Craig.
Well, to talk about bias from the year before, or even to the point what Spencer said, you earned it based. We make these decisions based on what you did last year or maybe in the off season. How many times would Ohio State maybe win a national championship and be your preseason number 1 or number 2 at worst every year? Yeah. Indiana 7th? Come on.
6,
but still not. I mean, should still be
laughable.
Should still be top 5 minimum. You know what I mean? Like,
like that's a great example of what I'm talking about, Craig, is the brand bias that still comes into play, and the Hoosiers are still clearly fighting that. No one that is a major brand, Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, go down the list. Nobody at that level, Michigan, would be a 16-0 national champion with the playoff resume that they had.
They'd be the number 1 team.
They'd be the number 1 team, and they should be. Everyone should be looking up at them, because guess what? Until proven otherwise, on the field, everyone is looking up at them.
What did Indiana do last year, gentlemen? What did they do the last game of the season? What did they do?
I think they won that game, right?
They
did.
They beat
They
someone
did.
because they went against Oregon twice, and they were so battle tested because of those trials and tribulations that they were able to beat everyone else.
Yeah. The answer was they won a championship, but you can't tell Purdue's new
Oregon
athletic
doesn't know what
director
that's
that.
like.
You're right. Maybe that's what he meant to say was Oregon instead of Indiana, because this is probably the most outrageous comment I've ever heard in my life. We talk about it and we roast the guy next. But first, want to let you know that today's Locked On Big Ten Squad is brought to you by FanDuel. Baseball fans, if you think you know who's hitting a home run today, FanDuel is giving you a free chance to call your shot with daily dingers. It's easy to play. Just make your free pick for who you think will hit a home run in their game. If you're right, you'll receive a profit boost to use on your next bet for a chance at extra winnings. Best of all, you can make a free pick every day throughout the MLB season. Daily Dingers is another fun way to stay engaged with every day's games, whether you're following your favorite team. Roman and I are following the Red Sox. Spencer is, for whatever reason, following Seattle. And Craig, I have no idea what team he cheers for, but you can be more involved in the action, and there's always a chance of somebody going deep. And so if you want to be involved with this and just make it a little bit more fun, have a little bit more spice during baseball season, you can do that on FanDuel. So join all the action at FanDuel.com. That's FanDuel.com to play Daily Dingers and make your free pick on who is hitting a homer. Play ball and swing for the fences on FanDuel, an official partner of the MLB. Craig, who is your favorite Major League Baseball team?
I'm a native Detroiter, so I'm all Detroit all the time.
Oh, God. Is that sports across the board?
Tommy
Lions,
Kahnle, my
Tigers, Red Wings? Oh,
Yeah.
oh gosh. I'm so sorry. At least you got Indiana in your background.
What did Spencer just say?
Tommy Kahnle, my king.
Yeah, I just had to watch that dude not remember how to throw his only pitch for the last 3 months. I'm glad he's gone.
His changeup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love his changeup, man.
Yeah, but he's
it's
like
a phenomenal
45
pitch.
now. It's over.
And
it's over.
And when you know that pitch is going to show up, you can rip it into right field and give me one of the most euphoric moments of my entire life. That's a thing that happened.
Okay, that's right. I forgot he gave up that home run. That's right.
No, it wasn't a home run. It was a walk-off single to right field. Roman, do you even
I was thinking of the Cal
baseball?
Raleigh one. Yeah, sometimes.
You guys follow baseball. The amount of random jersey names that you guys were pointing out at the White Sox game in Chicago
was a blast.
was pretty
So
impeccable.
good.
And I consider myself a pretty big baseball fan, but I was like, these
Esteban
guys are on a
Loaiza was
That was a fun one. Yep.
Bobby Jenks, incredible.
The Bobby Jenks jersey was
Aura.
incredible.
Hey,
Aura.
I just
The
want to
aura of Bobby
say,
Jenks.
before we move on and talk about Purdue athletic director's quote, some people stayed and got to see a walk-off in extra innings.
Yeah, they did.
Others left.
It was pretty
the
awesome.
building. And
What
I
did
say
Purdue's
that
athletic
person's the
director
reason-
say?
It's a great transition, Spencer. Nicely done. Yes, Tommy McClelland. This is obviously news from several days ago, but I think this is the first time on the squad we're having a chance to sit down and react to it. He just decided that, let's take a shot at Indiana, right? They're the big rival. You're trying to make a statement, right? Trying to get the fans all hyped up. I get it, right? But he says, if you want to win championships, don't go to Indiana. Guys, I don't know where it came from. I don't know how you defend it. I don't know what intern or daughter of his wrote that speech. I don't know. But that's just about as bad as it gets.
Jacob, can I go first here since I got to run in just a second?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Please do.
Yeah, let's cater to
Educate
Roman.
yourself. Educate yourself. That's it's crazy. I get it. Oh, hey, let's make a splash. Let's have some fun.
Everybody knows.
Yeah. Well, again, if you don't know that, I think that's a big problem for what the future might hold for Purdue. And they're not necessarily in the best place to begin with right now outside of men's basketball. So that's one of those things where how are you going to sit up here and say these sorts of things where, again, Jacob, you're right. Educating is the bare minimum at this point in time. That's absolutely crazy. Also, just want to say Oregon under 10.5, crazy high line, going 11-1, 12-0. That's going to be really tough.
Where are the
Give me
losses?
the under.
Where are the losses, Roman?
Ohio State.
Okay.
And I'm waffling back and forth on a couple of the other ones, but it's not in my preseason predictions over on Locked On Huskies. Washington pulls the upset in Eugene. I'll see you guys.
Bam! He throws the peace sign and he's gone. Roman Tomashoff of Locked On Huskies. Thank you for that, guy. Craig, I know you have thoughts, and you have talked about it on your show, Locked On Big Ten. I have obviously talked about it on my show, Locked On Hoosiers. But man, where did this come from? And he's had to go on this whole, basically. What do you, I guess, how would you word that? He's had to take it back, and he's on a tour across every microphone he can get in front of walk it back to it. That's what I was trying to say. And that's pretty bad as a guy who just got hired as the athletic director.
Well, there's two possibilities here, and neither are really good. The first one is maybe Kurt Cignetti put pressure on everybody, not only to turn programs around right away, but to make bold statements at press conferences, right? I mean, we all remember how Cignetti took to the scene with Purdue sucks and all that stuff.
Purdue sucks.
What
so does Michigan and Ohio State.
Yeah, nice job. But my fear was when I heard it in real time, was that, oh no, Purdue has just hired some egghead academic type that maybe really didn't know that Indiana was the reigning champion in football. And what a colossal mistake that would be. I mean, he came from Rice. Rice is a great academic school in Houston. They're horrible at athletics. Before that, he was at Vanderbilt, I think. Again, great at academics. So my fear was, oh my God, they hired somebody that knows nothing about sports. And I thought, okay, well, that'd be cool actually for an Indiana fan. But then like you said, he tried to walk it back. People got a hold of him. He says he ad-libbed it. Now the whole speech he gave was prepared. I mean, he was reading from the script. I don't know if he ad-libbed that or not.
Yeah, I made an offhand, unscripted comment about an in-state rival that didn't land well. I knew it the second it left my mouth.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, let's hope that's the case, because that's the best explanation for him.
Okay, but here's the other part of that. I agree with you that that's the best explanation. It's still a horrible explanation. Dude, you can't come in to be, it's not like this was the president of the university. You know, there's always that conversation when a school hires a new president. Does this president care about sports? Is this president more concerned about academics, or are they forward thinking and all this sort of stuff? No, this is your athletics director who just slip of the mind, Freudian slip, forgot that Indiana just won the national championship. I mean,
it's so bad,
dude.
It's so bad.
And then, of course, Signetti gets asked about it, and he says no comment. And you can see Signetti looking like a serial killer in his eyes, going, "I'm going to beat them by 50 points."
And they will.
And that
game's in Bloomington this year. Just for anybody that doesn't,
it's going to get out of. It's going to get out of hand.
The aggregate score the last 2 years between Indiana.
Say that again, Craig, for the people in the back.
122-3. We actually let them score this year.
Yeah, that's the combined score in the last 2 years.
122-3 in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And then this guy says that. So after this year, that's going to be what, 200-0?
And you know what? It would honestly
it's going to be so bad, Purdue's going to score negative points for the first time ever.
Purdue might not even show up. They might not even travel to Bloomington. They might just wave the white flag and
forfeit.
I mean, if they had recently won a basketball title, because obviously we know in this state, like, basketball is still king. And if they had won a recent basketball title, sure, I get it. But you know, the last title they won, I sent it in our group chat. I forget. It was like 03 or 05, and it was women's tennis or something, which, no disrespect, but it wasn't football and it wasn't men's basketball. So I don't know. Now, I do want to say the one person in the entire world that actually supports the Purdue athletic director is our buddy Ryan Herrings of Locked On Badgers, who cared so much about this topic he didn't show up. But I did say that I would shout him out and give his vote of support. He said, please pass on my support of Purdue's athletic director. He says that it was cool to come in hot with some swagger. Quote, "They may think we are dumb, but at least they're talking about us." That's what Ryan says about Purdue.
Man. What happened to our lockdown Purdue guy? I haven't seen him in forever. Is he still around?
I wouldn't. Yeah, Nick, I wouldn't show my face right now either, man. I'd take a long vacation after that. Let's just say that.
Man, I had some stuff come up, personal matters. Don't ask me about it.
Do not disturb. So, that's probably what Tommy McClelland did too with his phone for a while. But now that that's over, now we get to continue our win total fun. We're down to 2 teams, and we're not doing Indiana today because I'm hosting. That wouldn't be fun. How about Oregon? And the fact that there's only 3 of us means we get to go in depth on why Oregon goes over or under 10.5 wins, according to our friends at FanDuel. We do that coming up next. But first, want to let you know that today's Locked On Big Ten Squad is brought to you by the Game. Since 1986, the Game has been creating classic college hats that fans are proud to wear. Whether you're an alumnus, current student, season ticket holder, or simply someone who never misses a game, a great college hat is more than just apparel. It's a way to represent your school wherever you go. This year, the Game is celebrating its 40th anniversary. Yes, 40th anniversary, by giving fans a chance to save on some of their most iconic college hats. If you've been thinking about replacing an old favorite or adding a new one to your collection, now is the perfect time. For Indiana fans that are hanging out here, they've got a ton of them. They've got the old school, they've got some with the rope on them, they've got your classic ball cap, they got everything you need to support the national champs, all right? With hundreds of officially licensed college hats to choose from, you'll find the perfect fit for game day and every day. Don't miss this chance to celebrate 40 years of the game with 40% off your entire order. Visit thegamecaps.com and use the promo code LOCKEDON at checkout. That's thegamecaps.com. Promo code LOCKEDON to celebrate 40 years of the game with 40% off. But don't wait. This anniversary offer will not last forever. All right, final segment of the Locked On Big Ten Squad. I'm Jacob Goins of Locked On Hoosiers, Craig Sheeman of Locked On Big Ten, and Spencer McLaughlin, who today is representing Locked On Ducks. And you will be last, my friend. I will go into it a little bit. Craig will also go into it a little bit, and then we'll let you tell us why Oregon goes over or under 10.5 wins this season in college football. Craig, go ahead, my man. You are the Big Ten rep. You know every team in and out, too deep, everybody walk-ons as well. Tell us about the Oregon Ducks, my friend. Over or under 10.5 wins in 2026?
Slam dunk over. I am so bullish on the Ducks this year. I saw Spencer holding up the O. That might be 0 for 0 losses this year.
Knows ball.
I think you're good. Look, they got the tough games. You got Ohio State and Michigan back to back, but you got Ohio State's on the road. I think those are the only two trip ups. And then USC is going to come gunning for Oregon. That's a toughie because it's at the Coliseum. And I think USC's entire season hinges on their ability to beat Oregon. It's what kept them out of the playoffs last year. It's the game they have to have this year. That's going to be a battle. But ultimately, I think Oregon's the better team. I think they're loaded. I know the running back Davison, who had 15 touchdowns last year, he got hurt. It's not a season ender, but
kind of, sort of, maybe not
10
really.
weeks, 8 weeks, something like that.
No.
What do we got?
We don't know, but he practiced in full on Wednesday.
Yeah. Was that after the injury or?
Yeah, there was a little.
What happened?
There was a kerfuffle of sorts digitally, not like a physical altercation or anything, but there was a little walking back of reports that were not. I know the report that you're hinting at here, Craig.
Yeah.
But this actually happened today as we're recording this show. I have been neck deep in
Breaking
all of this
news
for the past like 4 hours or so.
Yeah.
Not expected to be anything significant, and perhaps not coincidentally, Oregon put out a series of photos and videos from practice on Wednesday. It included one of Jordan Davison running through in full pads. So,
well, that's fantastic.
Not the great news. A guy not being hurt. That's great news.
And not that they couldn't handle it. I mean, they're pretty deep at running back. But I'll just use that to kind of wrap up. I think they're in great shape this year, and that's good news. I did not know that.
Yeah. No, it started out as looking like really bad news, and then it evolved a little bit as the day went on. That was kind of a thing. So Goins, Craig is a ball knower. Are you also a ball knower?
Well, look, I am a ball knower. Now, whether you refer to me as that, we're going to find out in about 30 to 45 seconds. But look, there's a reason that Oregon is the pick by most people to win the national championship. And there's a reason that their win total is 10.5 right there with Indiana. And I wish the trip to Oklahoma State was better, right? We all wish that Oklahoma State, and look, they could be by season's end with a new coach, quarterback, things like that. But week 2 is just not, they're not going to be ready for the physicality of the Ducks. I'm not scared for them to go on the road to USC. Dan Lanning is 10 times the coach that Lincoln Riley is, so I'm not worried about that. UCLA, Nebraska, snooze fest. At Illinois is interesting. Late Saturday in October. If it's a night game, it could be interesting. Northwestern, no. On the road at Ohio State, I'm going to give that a loss, but the rest of the schedule, I think they win it. Washington is a home game, right, Spencer? That's in Eugene. So, yeah, I'm going to go over. I think 11-1 is very, very doable for the Ducks. I think they'll be a top 3 team. I think they will be playing in the Big Ten championship game, and they will be seeing the Indiana Hoosiers.
I am very much hoping that your predictions are on the money. I'd take either one, 11 wins or 12 wins with this
Anything
schedule.
under the win total is it a disappointment, Spencer? 10-2.
Depends if they get into the playoff. Ohio State went 10-2 and won the national championship. And at the end of the day, that is the only thing that matters for Oregon fans anymore to a large degree, and understandably so. And, if they were to go 10-2 and let's say get shocked by Washington at home, but make the playoff and go on to win the whole thing, I think every Oregon fan would sign up for that, because I doubt any Ohio State fan would trade the national championship for that win over Michigan in a year where Michigan didn't make the college football playoff. And I think Washington will be good this year. They're in my preseason top 25. I don't think they're making the college football playoff this season. They're not ready for that. So I think that what Oregon has to do this year is not going to be defined in the regular season, and the ends will justify the means. If you go 12-0 and win it all, great. If you go 10-2 and win it all, great. It's all about whether or not you win the whole thing. So I have not made an official record prediction yet. I'm not going to. I will say that I am only torn between whether I'm going to pick them to win 11 or 12 games.
Okay.
I like the over.
The over hits.
The games that I think they could easily lose. They're an underdog against Ohio State. USC is the game where they're going to be the slightest favorite. You could get caught in a trap game at Michigan State the way that you did against Wisconsin a couple of years ago. Short week of travel, long trip, nasty weather. Washington in a rivalry game, anything could happen when rivals square off. Illinois could be sneaky tough. Maybe Michigan. I think Kyle Whittingham has got a lot of experience and a lot of really good experience as a coach, and he's got a good roster. I don't know if they're putting it all together this year, but yeah, you could feasibly lose any of those games. Oregon should win all but one in the regular season, and frankly, there will be some Duck fans that expect Oregon to go 12-0, and with the way the roster looks, it's not an unreasonable expectation.
It is Tyler or bust in Eugene. Spencer has said it. Every Duck fan has said it, and Dan Lanning would probably say
I don't know about
that's
every
what
Duck
coaches
fan.
did.
I don't know about every Duck fan, but plenty of them have, and they're not on unreasonable ground of doing so.
Nope, not at all. So Oregon is done. That means next week's Big Ten squad, we wrap it up and we get to talk about the Hoosiers and how they will crush their over of 10.5.
Yeah.
They'll find a way.
Goins, can you host next week? I'm going to be out sick.
Nope, sorry, can't. Won't be here. Actually, no, I will be here. I just won't be hosting. But no, great show today. Thank you for you guys showing up. Thank you for everyone watching. Roman Tomashoff of Locked On Huskies was here earlier. Spencer McClelland of Locked On Ducks. Craig Sheeman of Locked On Big Ten. I'm Jacob Goins of Locked On Hoosiers. Thank you for being here this week. We are back again next week. So until then, stay safe, and we will talk to you later.